Welcome to Rooster Radio, a broadcast dedicated to supporting and promoting local artists in the Gaston County and surrounding areas.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Tiny City, and you can see these guys this Saturday here at the Rooster with Eunice, Raised by Sheep, and PTSD Radio. It's also the same night we're doing the bar crawl, the St. Patty's Day bar crawl. So there's going to be a lot of people downtown. So get your ass in here and come see these guys. And before we get started, I want you to introduce yourself to the audience. So look at that camera right there and tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, hi. I'm Nick. I play bass, and that's it. oh, wait, no. I play piano, too, on one song. You don't know it yet because it's not out.
Multi-instrumentalist. I'm Caleb. I play guitar.
And a lot of delays.
Lots of delays.
I'm Brendan. I play guitar, and I play synthesizers and organ and couple other things. Whatever I can get my hands on, I like to play.
I'm Derek, and I play drums and I sing.
Right on. And you guys were here once before. It's been a while. In fact, you're here with Marville, the shirt that I'm wearing. And I was really impressed with you guys. I was just like, you guys are very, very entertaining. Very entertaining.
Thank you.
And which is, I don't want to throw shade on anybody, but it's kind of rare for like indie rock bands. You don't see them move around as much as you can kind of get people excited the way you guys do. So I thought that was real special, the performance you put on the first time here. I'm really, really happy to have you back. So
Thank you. Thank you.
So since you've been here, talk about a little bit about what's been going on in the Tiny City camp since we last saw you.
Hoo-wee.
Everybody
Well,
looks at me.
You're our leader.
Our fearless leader.
We've been finishing up our record, just prepping up for that release. We've trying to work on some videos, working on some press, and just kind of trying to find time to take it easy before the shit hits the fan.
So you're preparing yourself for this promo mode and like
Yes.
promoting
Oh, yeah.
the album. Cool. I like that. I like that you're being conscientious about that, not just.
I do want to jump in and say that's what he's done. Behind the scenes, Nick over here has been all the way full-blown and already involved in that. He's been sending out emails. We've all been trying to help out where we can, but he's been sending out like 300 emails every few days. It feels like, how many did you send out that one week?
it feels like, but no, I've been doing a lot of booking because we're going. We're going.
And you do well. You should mention that there is a single out now that was recently released that you can go listen to. And I'll just say this about because I was listening to you guys the other day while I was driving, and it's just the one song that's going to be on a new album that's out, and it's true to your sound, but it felt more celebratory than anything you've done. Like it felt like a celebration listening to the new song. Is there an intentional shift in that, or is that just this song just happens to sound that way? Or
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I think, the song is to some degree a victory lap. I think, and the album is like that too. The album is really just kind of a celebration of life, I think, and the people who willed me into life. So I wanted the first single to be a focus of that. Because there's some darker tones on the record too, but you need the dark with the light, or else life's not going to make sense.
right on. Now, are you writing most of the songs, or is it more collaborative? Like,
Lyric wise, yes, yeah. Music wise,
you're
write
all
music.
chim, and you guys have been around for a while. Can we go back a little bit, talk about how you got started together? Did any of you have bands before this?
We'll have to rewind a little bit back to 2008.
Oh wait, don't hate.
Just a little bit. 2008 was when Tiny City first got together. It was me and Derek. We were in theater class in high school together, and we got to know each other a little bit through that. And then after he graduated and I graduated a year later, I ran into him randomly while he was at work one day, and we got to talking. I said, "Hey man, I love making music. I love playing instruments, but I don't have anybody to play drums with me." And he was like, "Well, I just happen to be a drummer without a drum set. Do you have a drum set?" I said, "Yeah, I have a drum set." So we got together, we hooked up and started, jamming, making some music. And then after that, we decided we wanted to start forming a band. We wanted to bring in some other people and get everything going. Caleb joined shortly after that. And it's been a fun ride, but he had a band before Tiny City. I had just some small little projects I'd play with people, but that's about it. Caleb, he played with his church band a lot.
Yeah, I played at various churches for a long time. And I met Derek at work. He introduced me to Brendan, and then I met Nick. Nick joined the band fairly recently. I've played around in a couple other bands from time to time as well, but always come back to these guys.
I've found that a lot of musicians that come up through church, there's like a style that's like, I don't want to. It sounds shitty saying it this way, but like church music kind of has a style.
Oh, it does. Yeah,
but your music doesn't sound like that.
No.
So was there did you have to consciously kind of break away from that mode to write music with these guys, or did you already kind of have this simmering underneath?
Not really. Like a lot of the guys I played with before, we really jammed a lot and a lot of improvisation. So it didn't really change it up a lot. It definitely gave me the opportunity to bring out more of my punk influences and whatnot that I couldn't explore before. But it didn't seem like a big mode switch, really.
No. Nick, talk about how you got involved. You've been quiet over there.
Well,
Like your background a little bit too.
yeah. So I've known Brendan since first grade.
Okay.
We met in first grade. He immediately became my best friend. We're both weird kids that do weird things. But I never actually played with the band. I was never a serious musician when it came to like rock and roll bands, and life just kind of moved on. I always went to Tiny City shows. I never even considered playing in a band like that. And then it kind of came down to one day. One day my dog died. My dog of 11 years. He was really, really good boy. But he died, and I was trying to find an outlet to just do something and not think about, as much as he's a great dog, it was really weighing on me. And one day we went to a show together, and I was like, you guys mind if I kind of pick up the guitar and play with you? And that happened one day, and less than 6 months later, I played my first show. And now about 3 years later, we're pedal to the metal right now.
Brandon, were you aware that like he was going through this, and like did you see it as an opportunity to
I was
distract him?
I was waiting for the day he'd ask to play with us.
Oh, you should have saw him. As soon as I asked, we were at the milestone. As soon as I asked him, he like started hopping up and down. He's like, Derek, we have a bassist.
Now, did you find that the creative outlet, did you find it valuable for the healing process and all that?
Yeah, as part of the healing process and part of this creativity that I've always just had pent up. I went into like corporate world and college world and all of this stuff that we're created to do in our society. But this was the first time that I felt like I could truly be creative, and with friends who didn't judge me. They didn't tell me how bad I was playing at the time, or they,
He was thinking it.
God, I wish you
No,
could
no,
have
no,
stayed together.
You did. Honestly, there was never any question.
Yeah, I already had a proclivity for music. I played like in bands in school, and I picked up a guitar here and there at Brendan's house. So I already had a little bit of touch to it, but it was the first time that it was just like independently like, oh, this isn't for like school or anything like that. This is just whatever I want it to be.
Yeah.
First time I could be creative.
It's one of the things I love the most about this world that I live in here is like the sterile, just cold vibe of the corporate world. Like it's so
God,
impersonal. It's so like takes you out of being a person and makes you a producer of things for something else. Like this, being immersed in this world of creativity. It's not just healing. It's like inspiring.
Infectious.
It just gets into your bones and it
yeah.
becomes part of who you are. And I just wish more people could appreciate that. And I'm happy that you were able to find that.
Or experiencing it.
Yeah. I mean, it took like, a serious, I guess, tragedy in your life to kind of get you there. But if more people would, you ever seen the show Hoarders? You ever seen that show? Yeah. All right. Every episode, like they bring in a psychologist, and every episode of that show I've ever seen, it all started with some sort of trauma in their life. Something happened in their life that was traumatic, and then this is the route they went. And you have a choice. You can immerse yourself in something creative or productive, or you can just collect shit until you can't get around your house anymore, right? Or do drugs or whatever the thing is that people go to when they experience tragedy. And I think this is one of the things I love most about musicians is they're able to take the things in their life that happen and find productive ways to create out of it rather than kind of shell up and become a non-person.
Yeah. Man, that's a rough show. I like that tie-in though.
Well, 2008, that was like peak MySpace, beginning of Facebook years. What were you guys listening to back then?
Oh Lord.
Because you have this indie rock vibe, and that was right before the onset of the MTV background music. Like every show at that time had like this this indie kind of music backdrop to it. And were you already listening to some of that stuff? Like what were you into back then?
I think we've all really listened to the same stuff. I mean, we've never really switched it up from like our main influences and stuff like that. I don't think we've ever really gotten into like
Maybe your half.
new.
Our half, we were more into some.
Oh, you guys were.
Yeah, we
more
were some
into our
little
stuff.
scene kids.
Yeah, you guys-
slightly
Oh,
before
yes.
that era.
Oh man, where were you last night?
Right? That's what I was about to say.
I was into all the classic rock and blues and all that stuff when I was younger, and I really had a strong influence with like bands like The Who, Cream, things like that. Like a lot of the old school bands, I had a lot of big influences with them. But as we started forming Tiny City, I didn't stop listening to that, but my focus shifted more towards the indie rock, definitely, and I really dig that sound. I mean, Derek's actually, fun story, Derek is the reason I'm into the band Modest Mouse, which is my favorite band.
That's a
I've got
really
a
good
tattoo
band,
of
dude.
theirs.
Was it
they're
Derek?
awesome.
It was Derek, because I first heard...
Because he dominoed that onto me.
I first heard a song of theirs on MTV years ago. It was Float On.
Float
I heard
On,
that
yeah.
in 2004. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. I love this song, but I don't know anything by this band. I don't know what to do to find out more about them. That was shortly before we met in theater class in high school, and he gave me their Moon in Antarctica album. He gave that to me on CD and said, hey, take a listen to this and let me know what you think. I fell in love with him immediately at that point, and that's basically when him and I first really bonded, was him giving me that CD.
Right
At least
on.
in my mind.
How about you guys?
If you didn't know, the name came from that love too.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
that. I'm sorry.
The name came from the love of that introduction
Oh, really?
to.
The song Tiny Cities Made of Ashes is on that album that he gave me. and
Oh,
that's where
cool.
we got the name Tiny City.
Right on. I was going to ask about that.
Oh, shit.
Appreciate
We got
No,
ahead
that's
of
perfect.
ourselves.
That's perfect. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I was listening the other day. I wanted to, kind of brush up on stuff, and there was a line that I wanted to bring up. You said you do most of the lyric writing,
Yeah.
but I just want to tip my cap. You got a really good line because I wrote it down. That's how much I liked it. It says, one night she lowered her dress to reveal to me the word of God. What a fucking great line, dude.
Thank you.
So where did that come from, man? Like,
Oh, God.
great song, by the way.
So,
Why are you red?
Oh, you'll find out.
Derek, you know that means we have to play that song.
so
Yeah, you have to play that song next Saturday. Yes.
I appreciate it. First off, that EP was intended to be a larger scale, like, concept record, and the concept record was about basically a cult.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's a lot to get into, but we never really finished the album. We just finished those 4 songs. The 4 songs on that EP were intended to be part of a set, and that ironically was really inspired by Moraville, because at the time, and we're really tight with them, obviously. They were really doing these kind of story albums, and I was like, fuck, I want to do a story
Zach
album.
wrote a book.
Yeah.
I got him to sign it. I printed it out at my home when he sent it to me. It was the first draft. I printed it out, got it bound, and took it up to him at a show and said, "Can you sign your book for me?"
Hell
And he
yeah.
said, "Well, this is a first."
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I don't really talk a lot about, like, specifically what our songs are about. I want to leave it up to imagination, but I will say that the songs on that EP and the other B-sides that we never really finished for that album, it is a cohesive story, but I don't want to take it away if you had another interpretation of it. I think it's a beautiful thing about
I hear
music.
what you're
you
saying.
know?
I definitely feel that, and a lot of artists feel the same way you
Yeah.
do. It's like you don't want to take something away from someone. Like, this song means so much to somebody, and this is their interpretation. You don't want to come along and kind of take that away by saying, "Well, no, this is what it's about."
just about my dog,
I
you
get
know?
that.
Yeah.
I get. Like, was it the Guns N' Roses song about his dog? But I just thought it was a
I
very,
used to love her.
very profound line. I was like, man, I rewound it. It was like, what did he just say? And I was like, this is fucking awesome. It kind of reminds me of that. There's a Counting Crows song that's one of my favorite lines of a song ever. Is she parks her car outside my house, takes her clothes off, says she's close to understanding Jesus. And I always thought that was just one of the coolest lines.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, it like kind of gave me that same feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
man,
can see that.
There's a little bit of that. It's a very, I mean, I think all of the songs on that EP and on that album that we're going to be are very kind of cultish, sexual,
Right.
songs, and you can take with that as you will.
That's cool. Are you planning to complete that? Is there a reason why you didn't kind of finish making that the whole concept album? Like, did you have these songs like, well, this needs to be it, or like, what was the
We have
philosophy?
every song on that album. We just haven't completed them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We've written them all. We've played them
Life,
all a lot live.
Budgets.
Budget is a big one, but also just like getting time to record it, and then
It's-
we've had
budget-
some change in.
That's
band
some of my
members.
favorite work and why I truly loved when I was able to join Tiny City. I saw that work and I was like, that and Wolf in Sheep's Clothes always just hooked me up.
He would always request us to play that song at every single show we played, and we hadn't played it in like 5 years. He was like, "Are you gonna play at this show?" And we're like, "No." And finally, he joined the band, and we had to do it.
That's right. Yeah, we didn't play it again until Nick was in
The
the
last time we
Actually-
were here was the last time we
Yeah,
played it.
the last time you guys played it, we played it was when we were over here on stage. And we haven't played it since either.
Yep.
No idea when the last time before we played was either.
Nope.
Is there do you have a philosophy on like when you play a show, are you intentional at all with your set list? Like, are you using the opportunities to work out more new stuff? Like, does the band have a philosophy on like what you're going to play when you get in front of people?
I think when we first started, we were more along the lines of like, hey, we just did this song. let's show it to people.
Yeah.
Now we're a lot more intentional about, it. We took years to do this new album. Let's
We're gonna play
kind
this,
of
yeah.
let's take a little bit of time to unveil stuff to people and see how it goes. And quite frankly, a lot of the set list is arranged around like not making any of us tired.
Not making one of us
Not too tired.
Not too tired. Yeah.
I'm assuming you guys all have like full-time jobs and stuff too. So,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you're doing all this on top of your lives. I don't know if any of you are married, kids, any of that, but life does get hectic, and it's hard. It gets harder to prioritize, a creative outlet when you have responsibilities at home. Do any of you guys struggle with that at all, or like are you still pretty free with your time?
It's been a struggle since the beginning for most of us, I think.
Really?
I mean,
I
we've
think
all
this
been in
latest
pretty
record's
long-term
been-
relationships. And
Yeah. And this latest record's been very hard because we have a lot of us have established family and partners and stuff like that. So it's really hard to be able to. You have to work, and then you have your family, and then you have your creative outlet, and to try to sandwich that all together where everybody's getting the attention, it's difficult.
It is. I mean, just having this place, I struggle with the same thing. Having, I have to carve out time, to do stuff for myself and with my family, but it's so worth it
It is.
to have this thing,
Oh,
this
absolutely.
thing that
Yeah.
no one can take from you. You've created some really awesome music. Like make no mistake, your music is really good, and I like it. Like I said, I had this long drive the other day, and I just let it all play, and I listened to every single one of the songs you have released, and I enjoyed all of it. I didn't skip anything.
wow.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, all right. So the new album's coming out. Are you about to go on are you trying to get out of Charlotte? Are you trying to take this to other places?
We've already been prepping for, and we've been all of 2024. When we actually finished doing the meat of the recording, we went out and regionally, and then for this record, we're going out all the way. We're going up to the Northeast, crossing over to the Midwest, back down. And
Hell
over.
yeah.
So, and part of this run that we're playing the show on Saturday, part of this run we're going to Boone, then to here, and then to Asheville.
Hell yeah. Yeah. College towns are the best, aren't they?
Yeah, we found out
Oh,
it's
yeah.
spring break. So we're like, yeah, college town, and they're like, a lot of bands we were asking to play. They're like, oh no, we're out of town for spring break. I'm like, what do you mean? we
There'll be those ones that stick around.
yeah, no, there will be. We're really
St.
excited
Patty's
about it.
weekend.
Yeah.
People will be out and about.
Yeah, people will be out and about, and we encourage you to drop in if you're doing the bar crawl. If you don't already have plans, come on out and check these guys out. Let's talk a little bit about the other bands on the bill, because we have a relationship with Eunice. That's who started this whole conversation about the show. Raised by Sheep and PTSD Radio, we've not seen them before.
No.
So did you guys bring them in? Like, can you talk a little bit about the other bands on the bill at all?
Well, I do a lot of the booking. So Eunice reached out to us, and we were really excited when they're like, let's go. We're playing the Rooster. Can you guys come? And we're like, oh, it's a Saturday too? We're talking about Money Shot. Okay. No, but they did ask us to help us work on the bill, or help them work on the bill. We didn't get any confirmed, so they actually filled out the rest of the
Okay.
bill.
Well, I'm excited. Like I've listened to a song here or there of these bands, and I think Eunice did a great job of putting together like a cohesive lineup. We don't mind mixed genre bills. Like we do it all the time, especially like in the metal scene. Like there's 15,000 fucking subgenres of metal. So like you're gonna have doom and stoner and all this on different shows. But it is kind of cool when you get like a good cohesive bill. And I can speak for myself with Eunice. They're a very, very talented, fun band to see
They're
live. They put out good energy. They've got a nice, colorful like stage presence and stuff. Really cool. So
I'm
you're
excited.
gonna enjoy
Very
these guys. You're gonna like them a lot, and so will you if you come to the show this Saturday.
Yeah.
When you come to the show this Saturday.
When you come to the show. I like that. All right, so Don Henley of the band. What made you decide to
Wow.
drum and sing? Like, that's so hard. It's hard to pull that off and be entertaining. It really is. Because I've seen Mastodon live, and it was a complete fucking letdown. Like, it's
Don't
sorry.
tell me that.
I love that
You
band.
have talked about that so much.
I love that band, but their live show's not very fun. Yours is a lot of fun. So you don't see a lot of drummers singing. So tell me about that. How did that happen?
Nobody else would do it.
Dude, that's it.
I mean, that's
absolutely
literally it. Yeah.
You guys have seen us the one and only time, or maybe not the one and only time.
Yeah.
It was the only
Yeah,
show.
the only.
Was it the one and only time where he wasn't drumming and singing?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and we're still kind of on the lookout for a drummer, but I mean, it's also one of these things where we work so well together. We're our four best friends at the end of the day too. Like, it's really hard to bring somebody else into that fold and
Absolutely.
really trust somebody
Yeah.
and really play well with somebody. You know,
So
at this point,
cohesively.
we're just it's just second nature when we do anything. So yeah, by default, I had to play drums. But I try to incorporate it into the lyrics. I try to incorporate that stuff into like the vocal melody and stuff like that. Like I said, we all write the songs together, so it helps my blood pressure.
Do you play any other instruments?
No.
Oh, okay. Right on. And so you guys were theater kids. Oddly enough, I was a theater kid as well in high school. I actually took like I was.
Cool.
I loved my theater teacher. Shout out to Miss Hughes. She would get me out of classes I didn't want to be in so I could help produce stuff. And like, she was awesome.
So you were more on the technical theater end of it?
Well, I took 1, 2, 3 and directing.
Okay.
And I loved it. Like, we would go. I got to a point where we'd go to like competitions and stuff, and I would, compete and stuff. But that was a dream that got shot down by my dad. We're not going to talk about that. But with theater, did you have aspirations, or was it like, I just want to do this because I don't want to do the other stuff?
Oh man, that's a good question. I don't know, man. I've always been pretty, out there and a little crazy.
Yeah.
So I thought that was. I took theater all 4 years of high school, and I don't know why. Like when I was in ninth grade, I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna take theater class." I ended up taking it all 4 years.
Did any of that experience contribute or help kind of build the performer that you are now?
I don't know. I've never really thought about that. It could have been even something vice versa. I don't know, because my high school band was already a band at that time, when I joined theater. So I don't know.
What about you, Brandon?
For me, I'm gonna say it gave me some pointers as far as like overcoming any kind of stage fright, which I've never had to deal with my entire life, knock on wood. But I've always had pretty comfortable atmosphere around people, so that's why I signed in for theater. I did theater all 4 years of high school as well, and it was just fun. I mean, it gave me a chance to perform in front of people, and that's the main reason why I did it. I just wanted to have an opportunity to let people see me, because call me as shallow or egotistical as you want. I want people to remember me. When I'm gone,
Yeah.
I want to be the one that's remembered. I
There's
don't care if
nothing
you got.
wrong with having a legacy.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong
I
at all.
don't. It doesn't have to be a 20-foot statue, but like a 10-foot is fine.
You want to leave your mark.
I want to leave my mark.
mean, I'm
not
just-
just for the close people. Obviously, I got my family, I got my kids, I got people
Yeah.
I want to remember me there, but I want the world to know my name.
I feel
That's-
that, dude.
that's what it comes down to.
I kind of feel the same way about this place. Not so much me, but this place. Like,
Absolutely.
It's a nice place.
yeah, thank you. Thank you. Well, I'll tell you, I didn't think about it much at the time, but doing all that theater in high school, it kind of removed any fear for me of like getting in front of people and saying what I think or doing what I want to do. It really did. Like I never really experienced anxiety in front of people, because at the time I was too dumb to know to be anxious. I was just like, I just wanted the good grade and I wanted it to go well. But then over time, it's like I never had that fear of getting in front of people and talking.
Goes away.
Yeah.
That in court.
Theater can help in court too.
Yeah, it can. Yes, it can.
What about you two fellas? What were your electives tonight? Did y'all get any kind of
were your
experience like this? I'm going through that right now with my daughter. She's picking her electives.
I was not a good student and kind of bounced around a lot around then. I could not even tell you what I have no idea what my electives were.
So how'd you get into guitar?
I don't know. One day I just told my parents, hey, I want to take guitar lessons. And they were like, cool. And
It wasn't like a song or a band that you heard.
I don't even know that.
man, I don't know if I know that. That was because, I mean, the first time I took a guitar lesson, I was 8 years old.
My gosh.
Yeah, I think it was just from like listening to music in the car with my dad. Like he would play classic rock. Like I'd never heard anything like Zeppelin or Black Sabbath before. It was all, Radio Disney type stuff. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I just, decided I wanted to play guitar and never looked back.
Yeah, I feel that. Well, when I was a kid, I'd always want to ride with my dad more than my mom because my dad would listen to classic rock, but my mom was listening to like Amy Grant. Shit like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like
Sorry,
to this
Mom,
day, I
but-
can still sing Amy Grant songs, and it's like after a while, it's like this isn't that bad. This is pretty good.
We'll do some
Every
Amy
heart
Grant
beats a mob.
karaoke one day.
Oh, no.
I'm going to die laughing if I walk in here. You're singing Amy Grant that day.
It'll be the next song I learn to play. Nah, it's I played bass back in high school and stuff, and I had a band. And when I got into my early 20s and became a father, I just kind of put it down, just forgot about it. And it's been over 20 years, and I recently acquired a custom bass that a guy made for me. That was it was a piece of wood from here. And I just decided about a month ago to start pulling up YouTube videos and figuring it out again, and it's been fun.
yeah.
I never realized how much I missed it until I started playing again. So
Heck
I have
yeah.
no aspiration. I'm not trying to start a band or get in front of people or nothing. It's just fun
Yeah.
for me.
Well,
You
good
know.
thing if you need a venue,
Yeah. If I ever do, I got a place to play.
Yep.
Right on. All right.
What about you?
Oh, man. Electives in high school and stuff. I was a band kid, like marching band.
Yeah, what'd you play?
I played. When I was in band and like middle school, I played trombone. I hated it. I was actually going to quit. And then my dad was like, you got to do something or you're going to do drugs.
That's an option?
So he was like,
You should have looked at me and be like, can I just do drugs?
essentially, no.
Sounds fun.
So when high school came up, like all of my brothers did marching band, and they were all in marching band, and they loved it. And I opted to try it, and my band director was like, "You can play baritone, because we don't really do trombones in our marching band." And I was like, "Okay." And I started playing baritone. It's it's the keys rather than the figure out where it goes, and loved it immediately. I loved it. We got on the field, and it was like this. It was an act.
That was like your little first little taste catching the bug, right?
Yeah. So like marching band and the competitions and stuff like that, like those were cool. Went out and actually when it's a very complicated love because I absolutely had a very, very difficult time with my band director because my band director had all of my brothers, and all of my brothers were hellions to him. Like, literally, he's like, "Oh, it's another Muccio." So,
I have a story like that too. So I'm the oldest, and I have two younger brothers.
Yeah.
We all had this same teacher, and when the youngest brother finally got his class, he goes, "Oh fuck, another Napier? How many of there are you?" And he goes, "I will never fucking tell you, ever." And he goes, the look of disgust and disappointment on his face because we all gave him hell. Sorry.
almost got out.
Sounds like you two have the same story going there.
Yeah,
Basically.
no, we
Except you were the first one. You were the
Yes, I
oldest.
Wait, what high school was it?
Northwest Cabarrus.
Oh fuck! I went to Northwest School of the Arts.
Well, I don't know where that is. So.
In Charlotte.
In Charlotte,
Yeah,
okay.
people used to get that school confused all the time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
I remember that.
I was just hoping that it was the same high school.
That would have been fucking cool. That's-
He is actually
Poor teacher.
He is actually one of the assistant principals now at the school. I don't know how.
Wow.
But yeah. Hey, Mr. Joyce.
You guys all from Charlotte?
Charlotte region.
really Concord, most of us, except this
Oh,
guy.
okay.
I'm from Charlotte.
Yeah.
Concord's home now. Has been for a while.
Let me ask you this: how do you feel about the Charlotte music scene right now and where it's at? I've been seeing a lot online lately and in press. We've got Music Everywhere Charlotte is like a publication that's really promoting the arts. You've got Queen City Nerve. You've got the Loving Life or Living Life Fest, which the lineup this year is absolute ass. So I'm sorry, it fucking sucks. But I would do better, guys. If you're going to put that kind of resources behind something, do better. But there's a lot of organizations out there they're doing it because there was a time way back in the day where the Charlotte music scene was really popping, and then it just fucking died. It just died. And you guys have been around long enough to kind of see the growth since it started its resurgence. So how do you feel about where we're at right now in this area, in this scene?
I don't know. That's a little difficult because, in particular, when you're talking about like the type of music we do, one of the last shows we had, one of our favorite sound guys actually, Ian over at Snug Harbor, he stopped me and he said, "Oh, I've done sound for you guys before. I knew it because you have such a unique sound. You must have a really hard time getting fans."
Oh, geez, that's a shitty thing to say.
No, but it's.
But so we took it as like a good thing and a bad
compliment,
thing.
yeah.
It's like we feel unique, and not because maybe it was planned. I don't know, but it feels good to be different in a sea of a lot of people doing a lot of the same things.
Yeah. And there are, like I read all of the emails and the newsletters from all of these different publications in the Charlotte scene, and I look through them, and then something will catch my eye. I'll go listen, and there are a lot of people that sound similar in the scene. But then there's guys like you and American Theory and the Phantom Friends, and there's some indie bands in Charlotte that are just fucking phenomenal, and I might be a little biased, but it's to the point of frustration that some of these bands aren't getting more recognition, accolades, even radio play. Like, we have such a vibrant scene. Why are the radio stations not showcasing this music? We have
We used to have a lot more independent radio, and now everything's owned by iHeart Media or whatever.
Or the Beasley Media Group.
Sure.
They're all owning all the stations out there. There are very few limited numbers of independent stations out there. I can name one off the top of my head right now, and that's it. But maybe two. But the thing is, I agree with that. I fully agree that the scene it's trying to resurface. It's trying to make a scene for itself. But yeah, it's very hard to get out there and make a name for yourself when you have all these other bands that, no offense to them, they sound very similar, like you said. And then you have the few outliers that really do impress me. Shout out to Once Below Joy, by the way.
Oh
Love
yeah,
those
they'll
guys.
be here soon. That's a great band.
Wizard Rock.
Super
Yes.
I
cool.
love
Yes.
them. They're a cool band. I really like the way that they incorporate their sound. It's not your standard sound that you're going out looking for. It's not like you're listening to your generic prog rock. It's prog rock, but they're wizards. Okay,
Yeah.
So they're wizards. Let me
No,
explain.
they've played
that.
here
No.
twice, and they are fantastic.
They're awesome.
Yeah, and they're really good people too.
Yeah,
They're really nice.
They've came
guys.
to some of our
Every
shows.
time I go to
and
neighborhood
stuff.
theater, I run into I forget it. I'm so sorry. I forgot
You're
his
good.
name, the guitar player.
Yeah.
But yeah, that you're right. You're right. There's a really good band, and so are you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
With that said, what have you found is like the most successful strategy to connect with fans and like gain a base of fans for you guys? Thanks a lot, Ron. Jeez.
Thought it was gonna be me.
Have you found a successful strategy to connect with people?
I think part of it's getting into other markets where there might be a more diverse scene. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, you know, I think we've been called multiple times by multiple people like a band's band. Because we've got so much different shit coming from so many different angles. It's not straightforward. And I want to get into those markets, I think, where they'd be more willing to listen to a band like us and try and hear the influences and where we're coming from. You know, I think that's one strategy. I don't know what else you guys were thinking of, and also just getting out there. I mean, just getting
playing,
out there.
yeah.
For years, we never got out there. We never. I mean, like, kids came up, we got married. I mean, you know, didn't get married. I mean, you know, like, there's so many things that came up, jobs and stuff like that.
Got unmarried.
And now that we're
Oh Lord!
now that we're in it and we're in our early 30s, now it's like, okay, we've got the time to actually go out there. We didn't have like this broad view of the scene. Even when the scene, I think, in Charlotte was more welcoming to us, we were just like, oh, we got other stuff we got to do. You know?
I hear that.
You know.
Yeah, and there is a lot of value in being willing to get out there and go to other markets, and you know, like, you never know. You never know where your fans are going to come. We have bands that come here and play like on occasion that get more support here than they do in their hometown.
Yeah.
You know, bands from like Pennsylvania and Maryland.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that they just want to be here because they know they can come here and 30 people will show up and show them some love, and they can't get that in their own hometown.
Right.
So like, I hear that. You know what I'm saying?
That's how it was for us in Columbia when we played. I mean, we'd never played a show like that. Next thing I'm playing, I'm sweating my ass off. Caleb's not feeling good, and I'm looking, and there's people fucking dancing,
Singing
and
along.
I'm like, what in the hell is going on in Columbia?
There was at least 2 people on the side of the stage mouthing every word you said.
There's
And I
50
asked him about it. I was like, "Do you
fucking
know
people."
that
I'm just
song?" He was like, "Oh no, I was just singing along." But still,
College towns,
they
man.
love it.
Wow.
That's really cool, man. That's really, and that's gotta be such a great feeling.
Oh,
See
so
people
great,
singing back
yeah.
your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need 100 people to have a good time. You know, you can really get down with 30, 40 people in here, but you want people to get into it. I am my happiest at work when I'm back here and people are out there dancing.
He loves to see people dance.
Yeah, smiles on their faces, laughing, cutting up. I don't care if they spill a drink because they're having a good time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's so much more important to me than just showing. Like, it's one, we want you to show up, but get into it.
It's that moment of bliss. We
Yeah.
all have really hard lives and things going on, but that moment where you can unlock and get away from that for a second.
Where you forget where you are. For
Yeah,
just a
be in the
millisecond.
moment and share this experience. Like the shared experience of live music. Like, we're all here. This is never going to happen again the way it's happening right now.
Yeah.
And it's like that with every single show. Like, no 2 shows are the same. And, you know, it's just, I just want to see more people, like, get into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's what we hope happens here Saturday.
So come here Saturday, get into it.
That's right. All right. Before we wrap up, anything else you guys want to share with the audience? Obviously, you know, tell people where to find you, but any final thoughts?
Apparently not.
Let me start. Yeah. So I just want to shout out our socials. You can go to tinycitymusic.com. That's got everything that you ever will need from us for now.
Social sounds, videos.
Yeah, we've got links
our
on there
tour
to everything.
dates.
Yeah, we've got upcoming tour dates that are already posted
Everything
on there.
that's cooking.
Everything that's cooking. And there's also a little bio on there, and it's fun to read through our website. There's all sorts of fun little things on
fun
there.
website.
It's a fun
Yeah,
website.
and I appreciate
designed it
this-
so I
yeah.
can say so.
Okay. I was going to say, there's a lot of pride in that voice.
Yeah.
But no, I do appreciate that when bands have websites with all of their
Yes.
links. It makes it so much easier for me to like find things. You know, Linktree is an alternative if you don't have the money
Yeah,
or
that as
skill
well.
to build a website. Use Linktree, for fuck's sake, please. It's-
It's a lifever.
Now, it
It
seems
really
like the
is.
venues love that because they can click that and
Yes.
just everything's at their fingertips.
Yep, that's my favorite. It really
It
is.
The only other thing I really want to touch on is just make sure you guys check out our album when it comes out. It's coming out early. early spring. Is that spring? I don't know. Look for us in May. We'll be here in May.
Yeah.
And I really want to say that this album means a lot to me specifically. It means a lot to all of us up here.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope it means a lot to you. And I hope we can share this moment with you. I hope it's with you.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you go.
Okay, sorry.
No.
But yeah, you can check out the new single Ted Leo on all your streaming services and Bandcamp, whatever works better for you.
It's a great song. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, it feels celebratory. Like it just feels like a party's going on. Like I got happy. Like it's sort of like, man, this is good. So yeah, the one song I've heard off the new album is fucking awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right on.
Got a little bit of celebratory vibe going for the second single coming out at the end of the month too. So,
Right
Then
on.
it gets
Yeah.
sad.
and then it's gonna get a
Then
little
it gets
sad.
nice. Well, hopefully we can get you back later this year once it's out and you're kind of out doing promos. So we'll look at some dates down the road. But for now, this Saturday, March 15th.
Sorry.
The day after Pi Day.
Yes, the day
Yes,
after
it
Pi
is.
Day. Yeah, come on out, have a good time. Eunice will be here, Raised by Sheep, PTSD Radio, and of course, Tiny City will close the night out. So,
And our bar crawl's going on too.
Yeah, come
downtown.
participate in the bar crawl, and then make your way back here and show these guys some love because they deserve it. They've got some really good stuff. They put a lot of heart and soul into what they do, and I can say for one, I've listened to it all. It is really good, and you should come check it out. Thank you so much for doing this, fellas. I really
you.
appreciate
Yeah,
this.
thank you.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Peace and
guys.
love.